Hello beer tubers and welcome to yet another Versus Beers with me, Peter, the master of hoppets, in which we're battling two Helles lagers. Not blind today, as you see. I have the cans right in front of me and whatnot because I'm on my own, so we're just doing him as a full, know everything battle. I don't know what full info battle, full. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, we're battling the States versus Europe in the craft segment. I know some of these classic regional breweries and whatnot, and also small breweries in Germany that make Helles lagers. They are a craft as well. I definitely think so. But if we think more modern craft, so we're battling Oskar Blues Slow Chill Helles against Toöl's 45 Days of Hell S. So yeah, two Helles lagers. These two were from Beerdome, so thanks a ton to Beerdome for the beers. Check them out. Link for the web shop is down below. It's a great web shop in the Netherlands that supplies you with beers from all over the globe. And actually, these two were in the giveaway I did with Beerdome for 10k subscribers. So Jonas, who won, has these two cans, so he can try and do a battle himself and see what he thinks. Maybe do it blind, because that's always a little bit more fun. But there's not much info on either of the two beers in terms of hops or anything, which is very interesting. The only info I really have is the ABV and also the canning dates. And this is from the end of April and this is from early May. So they're very close to each other, which I think is actually end of May. So, okay, this is like a month fresher than this, but that's okay, I think, especially when it's a Helles, the more malt-centric lager from Bavaria. So Slow Chill, it says here that it's a Munich style Helles and it's 5%. That's all the info. And 45 Days of Hell, or Helles, is 5.2% and lagered for 45 days. So that's the info we have here. And it's a whole series from Toöl where they lager the beers for 45 days. And the Pilsner is really good. They've also done an India Pale Lager, and they've also done a Mexican style lager. But this one they did, in the spring, and I don't think they've brewed it since. They do well, maybe they do. I know at least they do the Pilsner quite often. So this will be fun to try. I think we should start with Slow Chill because it's oldest, and see what we think. And also just in terms of color, they look exactly the same. Like, there's no difference at all. It's the same level of chill haze. Everything is the same. Both heads look pretty awesome. Maybe there's a little bit more clarity on Slow Chill from Oskar Blues, but we'll see how it is. So let's start out with this one. Again, it's like a very pale, nice golden yellow color. It's got a nice fluffy white head, and it actually poured out with one of those kind of German styles eggshell heads almost when I poured it into the glass, at least for the photos. And it has a very nice streaming carbonation. And I've been drinking it's many Pilsners, but I've also drunk quite a few German Helles, so it'll be really fun to see how this holds up to some of the classic stuff. I know a lot of breweries in the States are doing very well interpreting classic lagers from Europe. So yeah, let's check out the aroma on this one. Yeah, it smells really classic. It has a nice soft sulfuric bite. It's not crazy eggy, but there's definitely a little bit. And I think it's more than, again, I talk about in some videos, like really small amounts of sulfur, I think, can suit German lagers, but it has to be minimal amounts. Whereas here I'd say it's medium in terms of threshold. It's not like high because it's not like really eggy, but there's definitely some, but not in a bad way. And often with lagering, that's where this eggy aroma goes away a bit and also mellows and whatnot. But yeah, very malty, bready, a little bit crackery too. In terms of hop character, it's not like a ton. There is like a little bit of a grassy and slightly peppery hop character, but it's all about like doughy, bready malt. It smells like a very authentic Helles. I think Helles is often definitely much more malty than Pilsners, but you also have examples that have at least higher aroma hopping rates, but not a lot of bitterness. That's the general thing with Helles. It's not as bitter as Pilsners. But yeah, it smells quite nice. Let's try it, guys. Cheers, and thanks to Beerdome for the beers. It's pretty tasty. Quite high carbonation. It's interesting because a lot of times in southern Germany, Helles are very soft on the carbonation. It kind of depends on what brewery you try beer from, but some are really like soft and like doughy, bready, malty. And this is like really highly carbonated. It's almost like pills. It actually reminds me a lot of like American lagers in general. Like it's still got more flavor and one of like than a macro lager, but a lot of American macro lagers aren't really like pilsners, especially because I just had a German pilsner before this. They're more like Helles almost because they're sweeter and they're like so much more soft and they have like that sweet malt kind of thing. And they're no way near this. They're usually not that great. But this is quite good. It has a decent peppery, slightly bitter bite, but it's not a lot. It's just like a very light peppery hop flavor, but really doughy and bready. It's a pretty good Helles. It has a little bit of a huskiness to it, like a husky grain profile. And that's something that always draws down for me in lagers. I don't like that flavor too much, and that can be due to a variety of things. It can be the mashing pH and like tannins from malt and different things, but there's a little bit of it, but it's minuscule amounts. Like I think a lot of people wouldn't notice it. It's just me because I have a beef with that flavor. Really clean otherwise. The only thing is like the sulfur level is a little bit higher than I think a lot of German examples. And then it's mainly grassy and peppery hop flavor. It's a pretty damn good Helles. And I think, you know, if I lived in Colorado, this would be really fun. But I think, is it Bierstadt is in Colorado? That's probably where I'd want to go if I wanted to drink lagers and maybe not Oskar Blues. Even though, you know, Oskar Blues makes some very nice beers, but that brewery is very well known for their lagers. Although I haven't had any. I think it's Bierstadt. But let's try and jump over to Urs Helles. Pours pretty much the same color. Again, it has maybe a little bit more haze to it, but it's not a lot. It's still a fairly clear beer, and it has a white head. And I also think like this, both of these beers are like, I'm pretty sure they're unfiltered. I actually don't know about Oskar Blues. Maybe they have a centrifuge, and maybe Toul even has that too. If you haven't seen the Toul City Brewery, it's, you know, it's a pretty big space at least. Like there's still room, but it's an old ketchup factory. It's fairly big, the area they bought there. But yeah, let's check out the aroma on this one. Oh yeah, that's really bready. That has like a really freshly baked bread aroma. That has a much more enticing malt aroma. It's like just, if you've ever stuck your head in a fresh malt bag, that's it. Like this has not got that. That's much lighter and it's slightly husky. Like, man, it's just like so much fresh grain. Intensely fresh grain. In terms of hop character, I'm not getting a lot. I feel like there was a bit more of a hop character on the Oskar Blues, but that being said, you know, Helles shouldn't necessarily have a lot of hops. It's really, there's like really this fresh, doughy, bready malt character and just like fresh grain. Like real opening a bag of fresh Pilsner malt. But let's try this one. It smells really good. Cheers. Easy win. Already. Easy winner. Toll one. This is so much more akin to what's being done in Germany. And of course, it is because it's a German brewmaster. This feels lighter, watery, and thinner. It's 0.2% higher, this as well, but like just in terms of body, this is more soft and fluffy and whatnot. This is a bit lighter. Much lighter. Dry, this is also dry, but it's much lighter when you jump back to it. Much lighter. Okay, I've just had a couple sips and told one. That's a really good Helles. Really good. It really encompasses having that super fresh malt profile. Like it's, again, chewing on fresh grains, but it also has some aroma hop additions and really low bitterness. There's like a peppery, bitter, slightly herbal bite on the end, but it actually has a decent hop flavor. Maybe not so much on the aroma, but there's a decent amount of hop flavor in this. It's slightly floral and slightly peppery. Oh, not lightly peppery, maybe mostly, but floral and grassy. Maybe even lightly citric. Nice, drying, spicy, peppery finish, but it's like mildly bitter. Like it's nothing crazy. It's just there's a little bit of bitterness, but I don't think it's enough to really be Pilsner. And then the big emphasis is definitely this fresh malt, which is really what I think of when I think Helles. I think this really fresh, bready, doughy malt character or crackery, like just lots of that. And also soft carbonation, like medium carbonation. They can also be high, but often when you have them poured down in southern Germany, they are not like crazy carbonated. And this is like a medium carbonation where this is a bit to the high side. That's actually a really good Helles. A really good Helles. I love how bready it is. Just like chewing on fresh, bready Pilsner malt. And then also again, like no off flavors, no nothing, super clean, well lagered. Really good stuff. It's funny how they are marketing themselves with the whole 45 days of lagering thing at Tool, because it's almost like a page out of a classic Danish breweries book. I know this is, of course, inspired by German tradition and whatnot, but Hancock, a classic Danish brewery, is, they market their beers with talking about proper lagering times and saying that their beers are lagered for extended periods because they want to do the lagers right in the traditional way, which is quite funny. But I think this is great. This is an awesome Helles. This is definitely, it tastes like, if I drank this blind, I think it's from some kind of small brewery in Germany. I know I might think the same with that one, because I think it's also a pretty good example. This just excels more in the different things and flavor profiles you want, and it's also just more clean. In terms of grade, yeah, like a 90. 91. It's not like my all-time favorite Helles, but it's a very good Helles. And this slow chill, maybe an 88. Yeah, just 88. It's still pretty good. I think it's just like that sulfuric and slightly husky grainy malt profile is not too much for me, but I think it's still very well made. Again, like the Oskar Blues one is still really good, but this time you're at one. Tool is making a killer Helles, and in the shape of 45 days of Helles. Really good stuff. So yeah, if you guys had a chance to try either Tool 45 days of Helles or slow chill Munich style Helles from Oskar Blues, let me know what you thought of them. And yeah, you're at one this time around. But I know the States now have loads of breweries focusing on these styles, just nailing them. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'm gonna say cheers, and see you guys in another Versus Beers. Cheers.